am Manoharan. I am a speech and English specialist, and I was one of the earliest people working in Tamil Nadu as a speech and English specialist. To be very specific, this field of speech and hearing came into existence in India since 1966. The Institute of All India Institute of Speech and Hearing was started in 1966. I joined as a third batch student. And as a graduate student, I was the first person from Tamil Nadu. Then I came out in 1972. I did my graduation only. I didn't do my post-graduation, of course, because of so many other reasons. I could not go. This was a new field altogether to India in 1966. I finished my course in SSLC in 1967. During school days, we all had, like anybody else, we all had the idea of going into medicine. Especially myself, I thought of going into medicine. That's what my father also wanted. Okay. But it wasn't sufficient. My marks weren't sufficient to enter into medicine. Then I joined in BSc Zoology. Okay. I finished 1 year BSc Zoology. Then one fine day I saw this advertisement. I was in a village very close to Parni. I was studying in Parni Arts College. Then after seeing this, I just applied. I didn't even ask anybody. I just applied and forgot. After 2 months, there was a telegram, express telegram, asking me to come and join this course. Okay. But nobody knew about the course. I inquired all the professors in the college. I inquired all my relatives, doctors, and doctors known to me. Nobody knew about it. Then I told my father, anyway, it's a new course. Let me go and see. If I like it, I will join. Otherwise, I will come back. That's how I went and joined. I went there, but nothing, I don't know anything about the course. The city was new, the environment was new, the college was new, it was a co-education, and the environment really I liked, so I joined. That's a fact. Even after joining there, even while studying, we did not know after completing our course, what are we going to be? How it is going to be? What will be our scope? So that was a real situation in those days. Yeah, see, All India Institute of Speech and Hearing is in Mysore. It was a very, very small institution. Our batch, we had only 15 members, but out of 15, only 12 were there till we finished our course. Okay, when I joined, Dr. Dharmaraj was the director of the institute. He was a medical man, and he was placed as director by the Government of India. And Dr. Ratna was the professor of speech pathology. Dr. Nikam was another professor in audiology. Only these two were the qualified people. Okay, there was another madam, Dr. Menon, Mrs. Menon, Saraswati Menon. She was also a qualified person. And we did not have many staff, teaching staff faculty. We had a psychology professor and assistant professor of psychology. We had. Those days we had to study number of subjects in the first year itself. We had anatomy, basic medical sciences, anatomy, physiology, pathology, neurology, pediatrics, general psychology, linguistics, phonetics, and speech pathology, audiology, electronics. These are the subjects we covered in the first year. And my friends, we had two friends from North India, one from Delhi and another from Rohtak, Haryana. Another one from Hyderabad. I am from Tamil Nadu. All others were from Karnataka. My seniors also, the second batch, speech and hearing, second batch, they were all from Karnataka. In the first batch also, they were all from Karnataka. In second batch, there were two people from Andhra. But our lecturers were very, very splendid people. They taught us very well. Of course, the subject was new. So not many people were there to teach. Whatever they could teach us, it was quite quality teaching, and it was useful to us till this date. Yeah. Of course, the first year we had this many people. In the second year, first what they did in speech hearing ICE Institute, first they took people for masters. So they have drawn people from other degrees like education, psychology, physics, nursing, like that, from so many other this one. So they had 3 years of masters, 2 years study and 1 year internship. So first they started the MSc program. The second MSc program, along with that they started first BSc program. Then third MSc program, second BSc program, second batch. Fourth batch MSc program, third batch BSc program, like that. Simultaneously they started. Then after 5-6 years, they eliminated that people from outside. We started taking our own people for MSc. So like that they started. We had, from first batch, we had 4 of our seniors as lecturers. One Dr. Vyasamurthy, he was in audiology. Pandale was in audiology. P.D. Manohar was in speech. And Shamla Dharmaraj, she was in speech. And all of them, they were working there for some time. And all of them left. Then new batch of people come from our own. So, and we had morning, we had our theory classes, and evening we had our clinics. So the program, actually the program, speech and hearing program in Aish, it came with a great effort of Dr. Y.T. Kapoor, who was an ENT surgeon in Vellore Medical College. So he thought this program should be there in India. So with his novel idea and with his efforts, this program came to India. But I have to tell you that before they started in Mysore, they started as post-graduation and graduation. They started a diploma program in BOL Nair Hospital in Mumbai. So 1 or 2 batches were there out, and then they started. Since we started here, BSc program, they also started BSc program. There, Dr. Vijay Shah, he was in charge of audiology, and Ramesh K. Oza was in charge of speech. With their efforts, they started program in Mumbai. Other than these two institutions, there were no other institution in India. We had clinical population was there. We had more of hearing impaired, a hearing challenged population.
Okay.
And also we had other patients like stuttering, delayed speech and language development, the voice cases, phases. It was for our students in those days. Now it is more. If you go to Aish, now you can see a lot of patients coming. And there was not much of awareness in the public. Nobody knew about this course. Nobody knew about this field. Nobody knew that anything can be done to this kind of a problem. Even the doctors, except a few prominent ENT, prominent neurologists, and a few pediatricians, nobody knew about this course. I was looking for a position in Tamil Nadu. I had a contact with Dr. Kameshwaran, who was in Madurai as the professor of ENT. He was also president of the Indian Speech and Hearing Association at that time. Okay. So he asked me to come immediately after my graduation. So I joined him just like that. I didn't know what was the post and all, but I was working as research assistant in a project on deafness. Project on deafness. So we had to go to villages, identify people, measure their hearing, look for their pathology, try to give some medical treatment if possible. And those who had congenital hearing loss were trying to get some hearing aids through sponsorship. I have to tell you this. First ever ENT camp and first ever speech and hearing camp was done in India, only by Dr. Kameshwaran, back in 1972. Then the same year or next year, Aish also started ENT, screening camp. And it was there for some time. And till 1976 January, we had this 2-3 projects, one by ICMR, one by Tamil Nadu State Research Committee. Then in 76 we started noise pollution and its effects on hearing in personnel living and working in South India, major cities in South India. Sponsored by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. That we conducted in Chennai. So I was the senior research associate. Mr. Rangasai and Ashok Kumar were junior research associates. So we went around the entire Tamil Nadu and Kerala. We had noise mapped in all the industries, big industries and small industries in Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore, Tirupur, Trivandrum, Cochin, Ernakulam, and that is one. And noise pollution in traffic, all road traffic, rail traffic, air traffic. So all these things we have done. And then community noise on special functions, Diwali or the Madurai Chitrai Tirunal functions and marriage functions and concerts. So all these places we went and measured the noise level. We did noise, hearing evaluation to the workers, vendors on the street, police people, and those who were involved in music.
Okay.
So we did all the noise and its evaluation, and the hearing and its evaluation. A lot of work has been done.
Okay.
And this report was submitted to Department of Science and Technology in the year 1979.
Wow.
Then after 3 years, I was there as a research associate. Meanwhile, I got job in government General Hospital as a speech therapist.
Okay. Okay.
Since then, I have been working there till 2006. I gave voluntary retirement and came out. And we had only 4 posts in Tamil Nadu in those days.
Okay.
In government. Whereas Karnataka or anywhere, there was no post in government. Except Kerala. Kerala had 2 posts. So these 4 posts, they have filled up only in 1978 end. It was like, general practice. We had everything. The population coming to general hospital.
Yes.
So all kinds of problem we had. You take the case of hearing impaired, hard of hearing children, adults, voice problem, number of voice problem cases, aphasics, cleft lip and palate,
Okay.
delayed language and speech, and whatnot. All. We had, actually, I had a passion for working with the laryngectomized, voice, stuttering, stuttering all. So we used to have a lot of laryngectomy patients. I used to have 6 people as a group.
Wow.
There were 4 ENT units in those days. Now it may be the same or more. Each head, professor, unit head was very competent enough to do all kinds of work. They used to give a lot of cases. Yeah, it's only just a chance for me to go. Anybody would have done the same kind of work like me. So I had the chance to go. So I was called to give speech therapy. Yeah, I was there with him for almost 3 years.
Wow.
From day in and day out. From early morning 6 o'clock till late night 10 o'clock, I used to be with him. And it was a total different kind of experience. Apart from our professional work, I had experience in administration. How a government is being run. What all they have to see, which is more important, how to control the problems. So all those things, to a certain extent, I just learned from the people around, the secretaries and guested PAs and deputy secretaries. They were all good friends to me. And to tell about MGR, Bharat Ratna MGR. He's a very wonderful person, very loving person.
Okay.
He gives so much of a rapport.
Okay.
I mean, he cooperates like anything. Whatever you say, he does more than that.
Okay.
And he is very good human being. He considers you as a very important person. So whatever little I could do to him, it was useful to him. I was with him in his chamber. For 6 months I was with him. Whenever he used to go to his chief minister's chamber, I used to be with him. Initially, he had a lot of difficulties in communicating. So I was working as an interpreter as well as a therapist. So that was my role for 6 months. Then once he was able to communicate, then I told him, okay, I'll be sitting outside.
Okay.
Whenever you want, you call me. So the annexed room I was sitting. Now it's very difficult to be with the chief minister with all the discussion. You know, a lot of things. You don't know what's going to happen. Suppose something leaks out on very important things.
Correct.
I am the only person, outsider, who will be held responsible.
Correct.
And he is a very shrewd person, very, very, very careful in choosing people and accepting them to be there with him and work for him.
Yeah.
Unless you are very devoted, you mind your own business. It's difficult for you to be with him. I was tested many times.
Okay.
I used to just go and talk to him. You thought like this. No, it's all right. I was tested.
Yeah.
I had nothing with me, so I could go and tell him.
Yeah.
And also later, recently, 10-15 years before, one of my friends who was a secretary, IAS officer,
Okay.
he told me, in the team, he had good regards for only 2 people. One is yourself, other one is Dr. Chandramohan. Now he is in US,
Okay.
who is in Houston, nephrologist. So when we started in the Government General Hospital, Madras Medical College, as a speech therapist, even while I was a senior research associate, Dr. Kameshwaran wanted to start an institution in Madras Medical College.
Okay.
So he made a very good blueprint and submitted to the government. And in that we had about 6 to 8 posts, apart from these 8 posts submitted. It was delayed like that, you know. Then one day, 79 it was inaugurated. Then apart from myself, Narendra, you must be knowing Mr. Ananthamurthy, Sai Krishna. We were the 4 people in the government in those days. The next year, Rangasai and Ashok Kumar joined as a speech and hearing specialist in the Institute of Speech and Hearing established in Madras Medical College as a temporary candidate. Then we wanted to start a teaching program, but it was not taking up. We have been approaching the government, it's being delayed, like, postponed like that. That was the thing we wanted to start. Then Dr. Kameshwaran, he retired in 81. after his service in government. Then Dr. Lalita Commission was Vice Chancellor in Dr. MGR Medical University. First university, first chancellor. After her retirement, she joined in Ramachandra, SRMC. That time she called me and asked me to prepare a course. So I prepared, and then afterwards, Rangasai and Ashok Kumar and few more people, we all joined, and we brought out a blueprint, and the course was sanctioned in SRMC. We started the course. That was in 1995.
Okay.
1995, we started. For 1 year, myself, Rangasai, Ashok Kumar, we were going from Madras Medical College to Ramachandra to take classes.
Wow.
In the afternoon, we used to go take classes. That's how we started.
Okay.
And then we couldn't go further. Then we told there is one Rupa is there who was working in Aish. She had come down to Chennai. You can appoint. Then like that, Rupa was brought in, and she joined as a part-time employee, and then later she joined as full-time. She has done a marvelous job in bringing up the institution. And then in 2006, in 1996, myself, Dr. Mohan Kameshwar, and one more Dr. Anand Kumar, we went to Australia, Melbourne, to get trained in cochlear implant. So we had that training in cochlear implant. In 97, we did our first cochlear implant, 2 patients, adult.
Okay.
In 98, I went for children cochlear implant training program. Then 98, we started doing pediatrics. Now it's going on very well. And then in 2006, I had the idea of starting one more institution. So I was talking to Mohan, and he said, "You come out of the service, we will start." That's how I came out, gave voluntary retirement. Then we started Murph Institute of Speech and Hearing.
Okay.
Then I was there for only just 2 years. Then I had my own clinic, so I had to come out. Then in the institute in Madras Medical College, I have been asking, but it was not taking place. You must be knowing Dr. Balakumar in pediatric hospital. He was there as a head. He joined there as a director of ENT. He was there only for about 8 months. Within that short period, he had a good contact with the chief minister.
All right.
He started the course. He also started a cochlear implant program in MMC with the help of Dr. Mohan Kameshwar. So he started the course, but it was not approved by RCA. Students were admitted, they were not recognized. For 2 years, I've been trying. Then I had to talk to RCA secretary, I had to talk to many people. And then Rangasai was brought in as investigator. Then he said, okay. Then only after 2 years or 3 years, RCA gave permission. Now the course is going on well. People are there, and they are admitting about 20 students or so. There. Simultaneously, like in Murph, simultaneously an institution was started in SRM My friend, who was working with me, Ashok Kumar, he joined there as a faculty, and then with this help efforts, they started a course in SR. So now there are 4 programs in Chennai City.
Wow.
Apart from that, Government of India, they started for multiple handicap. They started NIPMED in Muttukadu, Chennai.
Okay.
Now they have started the program in special ed. Somewhere in 1995 or 96, in Pondicherry, they started a certificate program in Arba Medical College. Then upgraded to diploma program. Then they started a degree program. Now that's also going on. Then in in Trichy, they started the program. So Trichy also there is one program going on.
Okay.
And recently, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they started a program in CMC, Vellore, Christian Medical College. Now there are a number of programs, almost about 250, 300 students coming out. And this is now. In the beginning, for quite long years, the people were not aware of this field, what we are doing and all. Only after MGR got the problem of speech, people came to know about speech therapy, speech therapists, what they will be doing it. During Kameshwar's period, we did a lot of camp, extensive camps we did. And during your father's period also, we did a lot of camps.
Okay.
So we created awareness in public to a certain extent. But more awareness only after MGR's problem.
Right.
I was secretary. I was president of Isha.
Okay.
And we started a branch way back in 1974 in Chennai, Madras branch of speech and hearing. But it was there for some time. I was the president, and then we closed that, and then recently we started Indian Speech and Hearing Association, Tamil Nadu branch. I was there as the first inception president for 2 years, and then handed over to other people.
Okay.
Now we have to regenerate. My nephew Ranjit, now he is running the Murphy Institute of Speech and Hearing. Now he is, and then actually Prashant wanted to do engineering. I think he would have told you.
Yes.
So he had some difficulty in joining in engineering. Then I said, see, other thing I know is only speech and hearing. If you are interested, if you say okay, I'll put you.
Okay.
We can. He had applied. He said, okay, so alternatively I will choose this. So he chose that. So like that, they have joined. By seeing me, there are about 16, 17 people from my family, I mean, extended family and all, in speech and hearing.
Great.
Each one of them are doing very well in their own way.
Yeah.
When we joined as a student of speech and hearing, we didn't know what to do. And we had only narrowed thinking. Oh, audiology you can do, audiometry and other things. The speech pathology you can do, therapy to stuttering, voice and aphasia. Now, the field of speech and hearing has diversified like anything. You have a lot of scope. Even in audiology, you have implant audiology, you have pediatric audiology, you have diagnostic audiology, you have industrial audiology, you have device manufacturing audiology, and so many things. And if you take speech, it is much more wider. In the sense, you have specialized in voice. Like there are so many people who have done their specialization in stuttering. Many have done in cleft speech. Many have done in autism disorders, developmental speech and language delay. Many have done in adult aphasics. Many have done neurological speech disorders. Much more. Still, it is wider going. So, exponential growth is there now. Nobody waits for anybody now. Once a student comes out of the college, either he starts by himself, or he joins with somebody else, or he joins with an institution. So they have scope, lot of scope. It's a very good field. Still, in India, we need more and more professionals to do a lot of work with our population. See the population we have, it's more than 3 times of the US population. You have more than about 1,25,000 professionals there in US. Here we have only about 3,000 or 4,000. So a lot of scope is there. One should have sincerity, should have faith in their knowledge, faith in their work. They should be true to their profession, true to the patient, clients. Clients are the most important people. They teach us many things. We have learned a lot of things only from our own practice. What we have learned in the institution is very little. But that is the basic. With that basics, what we have learned from our own practice, from patients, they are the teachers for us. They give input to us. They give encouragement to us. They give job to us. They give bread to us. It's the clients, we have to be true to them. Very good. Thank you very much for taking me to talk.